Well, hello to all my Bay Harbor butchers out there. We are back in the world of Dexter. Thank you so much for joining my channel. My name is EJ Marino, and as I'm getting over a cold, I have to say I am so excited to dive into Dexter Resurrection. We have seen Dexter Original Sin on this channel. We have talked about the classic, the amazing original series. Now we have a New York set revamp of the show. Michael C. Hall is back with some familiar faces and some new ones. So let's waste no more time and get into my recap and review for the new series of Dexter. I have to be very honest with you. I think Resurrection is the best of the new batch of Dexter series. I was not a fan of New Blood, but I did like Original Sin. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was an easy, fun viewing. It was good to just kind of dive back into the world of Dexter, even if it was a bit of a different change with the prequelness. And hell, Sarah Michelle Gellar was there. I wasn't going to turn it down. But with Resurrection, I absolutely love where we've taken the series. It feels fresh and new. It does not feel like the same Dexter series trying to be, reformulated for a new version. This is just a whole new vibe, a whole new aesthetic, but it doesn't lose the essence of Dexter. We're also seeing Michael C. Hall in his best version of this character in quite some time. I love seeing Dexter just drive around New York, figure out what's going on, and help solve some cases as well, and still get to be the killer that we know and love him to be, and also have to deal with the Harrison stuff. Speaking of Harrison, I quite liked him in these first 2 episodes. I have seen a bit more of the series. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I have really enjoyed this version of Harrison, which I did not like in New Blood at all. So I really think just things are falling into place. Like, this is such a good version of Dexter, and I'm happy we got it. I will say the overall episodes, there are some things that I don't particularly love about the filmmaking choices. One particularly, there was way too many needle drops, way too many songs, way too many popular stuff. Like, I'm happy we have some money. I'm happy that Showtime and Paramount said, you know what, let's spend some money in the music department. That is a good sign that they have faith on this show. It just got a bit annoying, and that also ties into the editing. Calm down. We're not a Saw movie. I don't need the frenetic cuts. I don't need the weird editing of everything. It just feels a bit too chaotic. And I mean that in the music department. I mean that in the editing department. I just want the filmmaking to just be a little bit cleaner. But overall, I really have no complaints. I think the acting's strong. I like where the story is going. I think these version of the characters is great. And also seeing some familiar faces that Dokes redo. Oh my goodness. What a great moment that was. That was just such a surprise. So this is my review section. You know what it is. I like this. I think Dexter Resurrection is exactly what we need in this franchise. It is fresh, it's new, and it's still a killer good time. So we have my review now. Let's get into the recap. We're going to be diving into the first episode, and we're going to be talking about A Beating Heart. Dexter is alive. That is where we start off with Resurrection. What a good way. The resurrection of our favorite killer. But Dexter needs some time before he is in full shape. So as he is resting from his coma, we have some familiar faces. The Trinity Killer. Yes, John Lithgow shows up and is just being the brilliant Trinity Killer that we all know and love. I absolutely miss John Lithgow on this show. I thought he was such an amazing turn. One of probably the last, I think, perfect season of Dexter. One of my favorite killers. One of the best finales. What a great moment this was. And to see him here, it's interesting to kind of see him walk Dexter down memory lane now that Dexter's a father and, he was such a fatherly person. It was pretty good. We also have Miguel Prada show up. Yes, Dexter is dealing with all his former friends, all his former foes, and somehow in between, which is kind of what Prada was. I thought it was really good. The fact that this was a friend for him, the fact that this was another killer, but they're also talking about their past together, but the future. It was all very interesting. It was all very heady. For a Dexter fan, this is exactly what we want. But what we really needed was that Dokes cameo as well. Surprise. what a great moment. This was just such fun fan service, and I know sometimes this day and age fan service feels like an insult. Oh, they're pandering to us too much. Pander to me. I want to feel special. I want to say, hey, you've watched this show for nearly 20 years. Here's some fun throwback stuff. Absolutely love this intro. It's a good way of establishing that Dexter needs to kind of shake off what was happening. But this episode really does focus on Harrison. Yes, Harrison has escaped the middle of the woods and he is in New York City with a lot to handle. Well, hello, Harrison. Welcome to New York City. He is working at a hotel. He's made a new friend. I really like to see Harrison kind of establish himself in this new world away from his past. But that past will always loom around you. Yes, Harrison has to basically kind of feel like Batman in this way of like, this definitely feels like the Batmanification of Dexter for sure. Harrison's kind of, his story in this first episode, in which kind of plays out in the first couple episodes, is really interesting. So yes, Harrison is working at the hotel, just kind of making his way, through everything. He's made a friend. He's also made an acquaintance with one of the gentlemen who works there. Well, that man is taking a woman back to his hotel room. She is clearly intoxicated, not even intoxicated. She is clearly on something that man gave her. So Harrison, as the good person that he is, stops a assault from happening to the point where Harrison has to kill the man. And we see that dark passenger that we know is in Harrison. We see that come to the forefront, and he goes full daddy. He goes full daddy Dexter. He is like, all right, here's how we do this. Here's how we clean this. Here's how we get rid of the body. He takes everything that he's learned from Dexter, information that he was like, I would never need to use. I'm not going to be like him. Well, it has been useful for you now. Does this mean Harrison is a killer like his father? Don't exactly know where we're going with this yet, but this is definitely an interesting moment. Seeing Harrison be as put against a wall as he is, having to kind of just show up and be a good person, but also have to kind of rely on what his seemingly bad father has taught him. Yes, this is pretty much Harrison's story until the bodies are found. Well, the body pieces, because he chopped that man up. So yes, now there is detectives on the case. Harrison is not going to get away with this as easy as he thought, but it's the Dexter universe. He was going to have to be Dexter. Harrison was going to have to step into that father role and really get things going. It's a great point where we take Harrison before he even gets involved with Dexter. It takes some time till we get the Dexter Harrison reunion. I will wait. I will not tell you when that happens, but it will happen within the first couple episodes. Do not worry. It is worth it. But what a good point where we see Harrison, and I think that really sets up this season deliciously. Just to wrap up this first episode, again, a good episode, but I could definitely cover it as easy as I did. Dexter has a visit from Angel Batista. Angel says, hey, Dexter, I see you're alive. Strange. Oh, I also remember when my girl Maria said you could have been the killer. Interesting. And now we're seeing Angel start to investigate to the point where Dexter's like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And who is there to help Dexter out? We have his father. We have James Remar here. He is great to see him return. And he is actually a key part of these first couple episodes. Seeing him as Dexter's literal dark passenger. Seeing him kind of really step up to really be the father role that Harry's always supposed to be. Yes, he basically says, we need to get you out of here and you need to go see your son. He is in New York City. We found out this information. You hear this weird case about this body. Dexter's like, sounds like my son. I'm on the mission. All of this is great. Dexter's on his way to New York City. We think the episode is over, but we see Uma Thurman and her little Bob. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Well, she delivers an invitation to a killer. What happens there? We'll find out in a later episode. But my goodness, what a solid first episode of Resurrection. What a good return to form for the Dexter franchise. Yes, everyone, I am back talking about Dexter, so make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel. I cannot wait to dive into this season. I'll also, hey guys, I interviewed Dexter in the cast. You can see it over on my other channel, Flickering Myth. Here's some B-roll of it. It was great. I talked to Michael C. Hall. I talked to, oh my god, I talked to this whole cast. Kanya. You feel like Claudette? she is just as cool in real life. What a great conversation. I talked to the actor who plays Blessing. He is a blessing for real. Oh my goodness. Make sure you guys check out those interviews. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up and comment. Did you like these 2 episodes? What do you think of Resurrection? What do you think of this review? Share your thoughts down below, and let's talk about this wild relaunch of one of our favorite serial killer shows right down below.